We are a singular unit. We attack together and defend our brothers in arms. We are jacks of all trades. And we are the last video?
Wait, what?
We're the last video.
Seriously?
How's that possible? We're the mediums. We're tough. We can be fast. We can hide in the bushes like weirdos.
Maybe because you guys just sit around yapping all day?
Shouldn't artillery be last? They never see any action.
Not according to your mama.
Oh!
Too soon, man. Too soon.
Hey guys, I'm Mr.BeetleBum. Thank you for visiting my channel, and today we're going to talk about medium tanks. So medium tanks are aptly named because, well, they're kind of right in between a light tank and a heavy tank. They take the speed of a light tank and they mix it with the armor of a heavy tank, so to say. They don't have as much armor as a heavy tank, but they're faster than a heavy tank. And they don't have the speed of a light tank, but they have more armor than a light tank. So you get what I mean, is they're right in between. Also, medium tanks are the most varied. Because of that, it's kind of hard to tell new players, how you're supposed to play a medium tank, because there's so many different varieties of medium tanks. You've got your brawlers, you got your snipers, you got your flankers, you got your speed mediums, you got your slow mediums, and everything in between. Basically, they're a hybrid, a jack of all trades kind of tank. You have the mediums that play more like light, like your Leopard 1 and your Panther. Those ones, they can't sustain a long firefight at close range to another tank because they just don't have the armor to sustain themselves. Or then you have other tanks like the M4, the Sherman Jumbo, the Matilda. Those at the mid tiers are just awesome because they're mediums, but really, guys, they play more like a heavy at those tiers. Because of the amount of armor, especially the frontal armor. So that's what I mean by there's such a wide variety in the mediums. But what I'm giving you here today is for a beginner is the basics. What you can take no matter what tank it is and then build on to that with your knowledge as you go through game after game after game after game. You're going to learn the maps. You're going to learn how that tank performs. That's why I say, take one line. In other words, pick the tier 10 medium tank that you want to get to, depending on how your play style and what you want to do, and work your way up, get to the middle tiers and hang out there for like 2,000 or 3,000 games and really learn that tank, because they tend to stay pretty much the same as they go up most of the time. All right, then moving forward, attributes or roles of a medium tank in the game. When you first move out at the beginning of a game, you want to look at what you have as a team, meaning how many heavies do you have, how many mediums do you have, because what you want to do is basically support. That's the role of a medium tank, whether it be sniping support or brawling support or just flank support. Either way, you want to support the other tanks that you have, whether it be your heavies or maybe more heavily geared type medium tank. At the beginning of the game, you want to look and see, to make sure that there's even amounts going to both flanks. And the reason why I say flanks, guys, is remember, I talked about this before in another video. I don't know if World of Tanks has done this on purpose, but in almost every map you look at, you got your one flank over here, you got your flank over here, and then you have your middle with the spawns like this. Now, normally, like hill, for example, where everyone rushes to the hill in the middle, then there's the island, and then there's over here is, you got the ridge going up to the hill, and there's some buildings and houses. Well, you normally you got your heavies going over there, you got your mediums going on the island, and you got your lights zipping up to the hill, and your TDs back here shooting at everything. That tends to be the way it is on most maps. Sometimes you have to turn it like this with the spawns over here, but in general you got your flank, and the middle, and the mediums want to pick a flank. So at the beginning, you pick a flank, you figure out which one you are going to go to based on who's going where. When you get to the choke point, you want to let the heavily armored medium or the heavy do the pestering, being the one that's at the corner, taunting the enemy. Come on, come around the corner, that kind of thing. And your job to simply is to let him take the damage and to give damage to the opposing team once they've shot at him. You want to reward him for being able to block the damage by simply just tearing apart the enemy once they've shot. As it progresses, you're going to want to move around doing that. You don't want to just keep in the same spot all the time. Keep switching, move. If you're behind a big rock structure and you've been shooting from over here where the heavy is, move to the other side. Move over here to a flank and shoot from an angle. Move over here. Always relocate and then re-attack. That's one big thing in World of Tanks is, don't let the enemy figure out where you're going to be and just keep being there, or else they're just going to focus fire you the next time you pop your head up. Keep moving around so they don't know and don't expect where you're going to be next. So once you start owning that choke point, remember, always keep your eye on the mini map and think about your other flank. Because if you start realizing, okay, we've won this choke point, we've won this flank, and the other one you're seeing, help, 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 get over there. Relocate. You're a medium tank. You got some speed. Your heavies can't do that. The heavies are going to push on and work their way up to the cap. You relocate over to the other flank and help the team out. Guys, if you're worried about damage, don't worry about it. Yes, you're going to lose a little bit of time accumulating damage because you're zipping over to the other side. But think about it. If you don't zip over there and you let that flank disappear because it gets run over, well, those enemies are going to come over here and they're going to flank you, and your gun's out of the game, and now you're not even getting damage. Whereas if you just pause the damage and zip over there and support them, start getting more damage, and then the whole team ends up staying in the game, what happens? You get more damage because your gun's still in the game. Okay? Another reason why to always relocate and support your other flank. Here's another tip, by the way, something that I've noticed that I haven't seen many other players do in a long time. It used to be like a couple years ago, everyone did this, and that's how I learned about doing it, was if you're in a medium tank and you find either a slow heavy or a TD, like a non-turreted TD, for example, these are hilarious, is just zip up, use your speed, man, zip right up beside it, slam into its side, and just hug it. And then just turn your turret and just shoot at them, because they can't go anywhere. They'll try backing up into rocks and all that, and then you got to move behind them so that they can't do that. I did this to a T-29 and the other day in my tier 5 medium, and I had a blast because he's moving his turret to try to get to me, and once he got pretty close, I just simply zoomed around and let go and zoomed around to the other side and just kept doing the whole thing. I think other than one shot by one of my allies, I took down his whole hit points just by hugging him like that. Now, there are ways to combat that, but anyways, that's just a tip that I'm throwing out there. It works really good on non-turreted TDs as well. I've had TDs that they struggle at first because they're out in the open. There's no rocks or anything they can go up against, and they first figure out, and then they just say, screw it, I'm done, and they leave, and you just sit there and just shoot them. Anyways, that's not always going to happen, but hugging a slower tank is really fun in mediums. It's also been known as like a carousel because you can go around as well. That's another thing you can do. I'd say the number one thing if you're going to be engaging in close combat, no matter what tank you're in, always go for the tracks, guys. Go for the tracks first. Track them and then do damage. I can't stress that enough. I always tell new players, practice tracking. Because if you can track them, almost every time, now they're thinking, oh, okay, where's my kit? And meanwhile you're going around and you're shooting them and tracking them again once they've got their tracks back on. Boom, track them again. Anyways, so you've got your choke point, you've won your choke point, you've moved over to your flank, you've supported them, now they're winning. Yeah! We're all winning. We're heading to the cap, and we're going to mop up now, man. It's nothing but just free damage to all the TDs or SPGs that are hanging out at the base doing nothing for their team. So I hope this helps, guys. Remember, medium tanks are the most varied, so I can't really tell you exactly how to play each and every one in one video. But what I can do is say this. If you put in the comments what kind of medium you want to play, ask me, well, what should I, what's the best play style, what are the best skills, no problem, do it. I will answer you. I'll get back to you and let you know what I would suggest for you to do, depending on which tank it is that you want to play. Okay? So I offer that to everybody. And now let's go talk about crew skills for medium tanks. Alright guys, here we are in the garage. I got the T-3485M, one of my favorite medium tanks that I'm playing right now. And we're going to talk about crew skills. So, starting off right away, we've got the commander. As I always do, I just go up to 3 crew skills. Again, I can't stress this enough. Medium tanks, these are so varied, guys. So what I'm doing is giving you the basic skills that I would recommend on all medium tanks. That being said, if you have a specific medium tank that you want to play and you want to know what I think you should be playing or using for your crew skills, put in the comments, ask me, and I'll get back to you and let you know. Okay, so let's go ahead. So first of all, for commander, we always want to start off with our repairs, work our repairs up to 100%, and then reset and put in 6 cents. After that, we get the repairs again, we get it up to 100%, and we do brothers in arms. And then we do repairs, and we keep repairs as our third one. Then as we go along here, we've got our gunner. Same thing, start with repairs, go up to 100%, and then you're going to take brothers in arms. After brothers in arms, I would take repair, and then you've got snapshot. I really believe snapshot is a great one for the turreted mediums because a lot of times with mediums, you're just sitting there turning constantly. I mean, that's basically what you're doing. You're moving your hull trying to speed up the process. So if there's anything that can help you speed up that turret moving, you want to use it. So I don't know. I might even, depending on the tank, I might even put it as my second. But anyways, let's get brothers in arms as the first skill. Then repairs, and then snapshot. Okay, now when you're going for your driver, again, repairs, up to 100%. Brothers in arms, up to 100%. And then you've got yourself your smooth ride or clutch braking. Smooth ride is only because of the one tank that I'm playing right now. In all honesty, guys, I would tell you to go with clutch braking. Again, why? Because it's traverse. You want to use your traverse speed a lot. It also depends on your play style, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing on this one. But honestly, you should go with, if we're talking about all medium tanks in general, go with clutch braking. And then we've got our radio operator. Same thing, we take the repairs, we get them up to 100%, we take brothers in arms, then we bring the repairs up again, and we switch it over to situational awareness to extend that view range. And then we get the repairs up to 100%, and you're good to go. Your loader, same thing. You get your repairs up to 100%. Switch it to brothers in arms, back to repairs, up to 100%. Then you could go with the safe stowage, or you could do repairs as a second and safe stowage third. Myself, I would do safe stowage second and the repairs third. That's your basic 3 skill setup for all mediums. Again, everyone's going to be a little bit different because we're talking about medium tanks and they are so varied. Then when it comes down to the equipment, in this tank here, as you see, I have the gun lane drive, I have the rammer, and I've got the coated optics. So notice what I'm doing is I'm increasing my view range, I'm increasing how fast the shots are going to be able to get loaded. And on top of that, I'm also speeding up the process of the aiming reticle of zooming in and getting my aim. A lot of mediums are known to have slow aiming speeds, so that's why the gun lane drive is good. Again, vents is another one that a lot of players like to use, especially up until they get 3 or 4, maybe even 5 skills, and then they drop the vents, pay the 10 gold, take it off, use it on another tank, and replace it with something else. Again, this comes down to your playstyle. Guys, there's guys in Leopard 1s who play the medium tank as a sniper, and they're out there with binocs and camouflage and vents. So again, it really depends on which tank you're going to be playing with. But in general, those are 3 good ones. Again, leave comments, ask, hey man, which equipment as well. When it comes down to the actual the shells that I use, I've said this every single type of tank I don't use the gold that much. If I got 30 million credits, okay, fine, great. There's games where I'll just load up and just say, whatever, man, just spam the gold. But in most cases, I don't. I've studied What Guru, over the years a lot, and I try to learn all the weak spots of new tanks as they come out, so I'm not too worried about it. And then again, I always tell new players, guys, save your credits. Just go with the small repair kit, the small first aid kit, the manual fire extinguisher. It's all good. And you'll notice finally, guys, the camouflage. If you're playing a leopard, playing a panther, you want to be a sniper, then of course camouflage is really big. I've done it simply just for the cosmetic look of it. I'm not really too worried about the, whether or not I'm going to be hidden, because that's not the way I play my mediums. I'm more of the type of medium player that, I like to zip around and relocate and, go from flank to flank supporting the team. I'm a big player. No matter what tank I'm in, I tend to be a supporting tank, it seems like. Anyways, that's it for Crew Skill, guys. Again, I really hope that you appreciate this this video, or I hope you appreciate. I appreciate that you watched the video, and I hope you enjoyed the video. That's what I was trying to say. If you do like it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to know more about the videos as they come out, of course, hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate you guys watching the videos. All right, guys. Cheers.